Ready. Kim Fennebresque is here, CEO and chairman of Dahlman Rose, and the market reaction and much more this morning. Good morning to you.
Morning.
Help us here, and I want to talk about Xerox HP in just a second, but help us here with the coronavirus in terms of how you think investors are supposed to think about this today.
Well, the most important thing is I don't have it.
Right. That's the good news.
That's all I really care about. And I think it's actually, it's odd that it's become sort of an investor issue and not a humanitarian issue in some ways. But, you know, I think it is a looming disaster, and no one knows where it's going to go, and we have total opacity in China, and so we have no facts.
And therefore you do what about it, though?
Yeah, I think as an investor, I do nothing about it. I would ignore it for the time being. I suppose I'd pull back on some retail things, I suppose, but I would not overreact.
That seems to be the conventional wisdom for the most part in the market.
To your point, I've got no original thought on the topic, but I do think I don't think there's an obvious market reaction to it, because I think it really is. It's completely. It seems actually mostly contained in China. But again, as I said, it's total opacity. So
what I will say is, Jim Cramer said yesterday he thinks that GDP in China is going to 1 to 2% for the quarter. Does that matter when it's the second largest economy?
Yeah.
If that's true, investors should do something.
If that happens,
you don't agree with that.
No, it's not that I don't agree with it, Joe. I don't think it's known yet, and I think you can.
But as an investor, maybe you should do something.
Yeah, and you can pull back and be defensive now, I suppose, but I wouldn't.
I'm thinking we maybe should order a few testing kits in New York. I didn't think that was a great answer, that we've got no antivirals or.
So you're that nervous?
Not that nervous. I just don't think.
Then you think that the market.
It's not that as much as just preparation.
I just think that you could have some ready to test, because the most important thing is the detection, right? And I don't mean from Theranos. I mean like actual kits. I would like to know. Just like we found out in China now, they're doing clinical diagnostic. They're adding those numbers in
because they can't test enough people. There aren't enough tests.
Exactly.
And
they've got a shortage of everything in China, right? They've got a shortage of hospital beds. They've got a shortage of masks. They've got a shortage of testing. They've got a shortage of everything.
This changes nothing for your investment thesis.
I think only because I think it's too early to tell. I mean, I think the only obvious response I can think of is to pull back from some supply chain companies that are reliant on China, and I suppose you could pull back accordingly on ones that relate to that.
Otherwise, are you bullish?
Yeah, I'm bullish. I think the economy is strong. I don't know if it's got a lot of growth left in it, but I think it's really strong. So I think it's safe.
What does that mean? You don't think it's got a lot of growth left?
I don't know that it has growth in it. I mean, I think
is the whole thing dependent on growth?
No, I think the economy now is moving well, and it's solid, and I think we have all the numbers that are out there are very.
I mean, you would measure growth by even lower unemployment numbers, which is going to be hard to do.
Exactly.
We're probably going to see it in wage gains at this point.
You may see it in wage gains,
but we could get to a certain level. And it's pretty solid. Yeah. And if it doesn't go up,
we have a great economy that's not growing. Yeah,
okay.
Exactly. And that may be somewhat oxymoronic, but I don't think so.
Want to pivot to the HP Xerox fight?
I suspected you might.
Given your role as a nominee, just tell us what you think the state of play is right now before we even get into it.
The state of play right now is Xerox has made overtures.
Yes.
With increasing intensity and fervor, and HP, much less China, has been opaque.
Well, what do you think is going to happen? What's going to change in this process? What has to happen?
Well, I think Xerox has spoken to a broad array of HP shareholders,
right?
And they seem to be meeting with lots of enthusiasm. HP has an investor day or earnings release in late February. And they said they're going to
February 24th.
Yeah, and they said they're going to respond in some form. Then, I think the heat is going up. The combination, I think, makes a terrific amount of sense. So
more for Xerox than for HP. Is that fair to say? That would be one of the critiques.
No, I would say it makes more sense for the HP shareholders. So, you know, the term. Aaron, about hostile, right? Hostile to whom is the question, right? So it may be hostile to management in some ways if they fear for their jobs. It may be hostile to the board if they fear for their slots. But it's not hostile to the shareholders, and they're the owners. It's their company.
If you get on this board, what are you going to do?
Well, I can give you the obvious cliche, which I'm going to discharge my fiduciary responsibility, and that cliche actually happens to be true. I mean, I would, if I'm on that board, we will evaluate whatever offers come in. And do what's best. And frankly, I've been around this business a long time. I will do what I can to maximize shareholder value.
And nothing else? You don't have a strategy, a plan beyond that? No, that's a very basic plan. No, but I'm saying anybody could say that. I could say I'm going to get on the board and I'm going to.
And I'm anybody. So in that context, yes, I will say that. But
you've now studied this company.
Yeah, I have not studied this company in a sense that as to say I'm going to change their strategy, or what I would do if we endured, if there were no transaction.
Right.
What I would do is I would inject some life into it. I think it needs innovation, and it needs a thoughtful strategy.
I think Andrew would like you to consider some of the other stakeholders. I mean, you keep talking shareholders, and I just think, just get woke, will you, Kim, if you really want to live in today's world.
That was not where I was going.
That was not where you were going. I thought you wanted to expand it to there's 10, 12, 15.
I assumed that if someone's going to put you on the board that you actually have a strategy and a plan.
That's not going to fly around here.
Honestly, beyond saying that
it's going to fly around here, Fennebresque.
So
assume the fiduciary duty of being on the board.
So from the outside,
right.
I've read, right, and I think I've never sat down with management. I've never heard their detailed strategic plan. I've never sat down with anybody below the senior level or anybody at the company to talk about where they think their business is going. And I think that kind of chopper in with 2 weeks of information or a month's worth of information and have a strategic plan for the company is kind of lunacy, I think.
I mean, Xerox is in a much better position now because it's up like 90%.
Yes. Well,
the stock price.
Exactly, Joe.
So it takes care of a lot of the other stakeholder stuff falls in line if you can. I mean, the first thing you really need to do is enhance shareholder value. I think, I feel that way. I know that.
And not
the question is, how do you do that?
Well, however you need to do it.
I don't think
you do all the right things. You do all the right things.
I think to go in as a HP director and have some plan on how to turn the business, change the business, with a company that's just basically sat stagnant for a long time. Stock price has done nothing for a long time. HP stock has basically doubled in the last year, and I think Xerox has, and I think HP has gone up like 20%, all of which came after the overture from Xerox.
Correct.
So I think there's a lot to get done. I think they have had a lot of people who've been at that company for a long time, and I think they've not had a lot of fresh new thoughts for a long time. So I think it needs an injection of new thought, and I think a new board of 10 smart people and me could go into that company and make
10 smart people and me.
Yeah,
that's not 11 smart people.
Yeah, okay, thanks, Joe. I was hoping you'd say that. So, having said that, I don't think I've got snappy answers from the outside. I think it'd be arrogant to have a snappy answer from the outside as to what I was going to do to change HP.